special paper just for the game.
Wow.
And then they had those policemen there because it'd be fights on WLOA. He was a radio station.
Oh.
You know, those kids that flew those bombers in that, they were 18, 19,
Crazy.
20 years old.
Put on your helmets and buckle your chin straps for the wildest podcast held in the Steel City. Dubs and Chicken Hawk will give you a taste of the past in fried jumbo.
In the early 50s, I think.
Okay.
50.
So you were past 10 years old.
Yeah, I was.
So do you
10,
remember?
12.
Did your family listen to radio prior to that?
Oh,
Would-
yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
We listened to radio all the time.
Okay. And then TV comes along and
We didn't have one right away.
Right.
One
did
neighbor
someone in the
brought
house.
one.
I was going to say, did someone in your neighborhood have
Yeah,
one?
and then everybody, all the kids would go to their house and watch TV. My grandfather, he died in 48, and I know he never seen a TV. So, but I think 50, well, it had to be the early 50s
Right.
because I moved out here in 53.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we already had, we already
maybe
had
1950 or something.
1950 or so.
Yeah.
So that would have been, you were around 12 or 13 or
I was
14.
probably 12.
Yeah, okay.
Wow.
From 48, 49, maybe TV started coming out.
Yeah.
So I was 10 or so.
Do you remember programming from that time? Things you watched, or is it something you didn't spend a lot of time doing?
Well, we didn't have a TV, so
Yeah.
I think we used to watch Don Eagle wrestle. They had wrestling on.
Oh, did they?
Oh, yeah. Ringside Rosie.
Ringside Rosie.
She was young then.
Oh, she was screaming and hollering, this woman. Okay, it was, and
I
everybody
remember her
was
being like 90 years old when I watched wrestling.
Right.
Yeah, she was younger then.
yeah,
probably.
Ringside Rosie. And I remember, it used to go off early. It
Yeah.
wasn't on 24 hours like
Yeah.
it is today.
So
There was only three different stations, I
Right.
think. KDKA was the first one, I believe.
Right. You know what's interesting is today's kids, your grandkids, right? And
Yeah.
your grandkids especially, their whole life has been, they've had media kind of in their life, right? And
Oh,
you
yeah.
had no influence from media, geez, until you were maybe.
Oh,
Media was never a big part of your life
No, not at all.
until you were an adult.
Like I'd starting to use a computer,
Right.
I was already in business
Right.
and got a computer and
There
I
you go.
just started trying using it.
Right.
You know,
But it never formed your opinion on stuff because you never really had much of that.
no, you didn't have enough of it. Now, all the stations you watch,
Yeah.
you know,
Your phones, all that stuff.
everything you watch today, it's political and you
Yeah.
know, and
Gets goofy.
they could slant people's lives
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
because, you know, people watch certain programming
Yeah.
and they'll say, oh, yeah, this
But
is
it never
true, this is
influenced
true.
you on who you were as a child, right?
No, because we didn't have enough of it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Now, when did you meet Bev? And when did you get married and things like that?
Let's see. We got married in 63.
63.
So I met her probably in 61.
Yeah.
Yeah, we dated for a couple of years.
And how did you meet her?
Uh-oh.
I was the VFW
VFW, okay.
in East Pittsburgh, not the one in Irwin.
Right.
Right.
East Pittsburgh.
I know where that one is.
Sure.
I was in a bar, and I was, you know, me and my buddies, we were in there drinking, and they had a window, like, or an open behind the bar that went into the dance area.
Okay.
And I seen her dancing. I go, who's that?
Chit-sing.
So,
You went up and introduce yourself?
yeah, she had gone, coming out and went to the restroom, and I seen her coming back, and I went over and started talking to her. So that's how I.
The rest is history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we dated a couple of years, and then we got married. We got married in August of 63. I was
So that's
25
61 years you're married now. Is that right?
this August. Yeah,
61.
Wow.
yeah,
That's coming around the horn here in about a
You
month.
both look great. I mean, that's fantastic, man.
yeah. I said if I get to 30 and not married, I'll never get married. But I turned 25 on August 13th and got married on August 17th.
Well, you know when you know, right?
When you got married, okay, when did Dominic come into the world? 65 maybe, 64.
64.
1 year later.
Yeah, he'll
Yeah.
be 60 this year.
Okay. And Billy was
58.
66 maybe.
Yeah.
He was born.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, and Bill, he didn't get married till he was 31.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're from a Catholic family in Braddock, right?
Yeah.
So did everybody in town go to church to the same place, or how'd that all go?
Oh, no. Down there they had
did they?
ethnic churches.
Oh.
There was the German church was St. Joe's.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
St. Mary's was the Italian church.
Huh.
St. Brennan's was the Irish church.
When they were all Catholic? Mm-hmm. No kidding. I didn't know that.
Oh, there was a ton of churches in Braddock.
Yeah.
But it was separated.
Churches and bars.
It was separated.
Yeah,
I was going to say, usually that's connected.
Church, bars, and the mill. That's about it. Church, bars, and mill. That's Pittsburgh, right? That's the story of Pittsburgh.
That should be the name of a book.
Church bars.
Church
In the mill.
in the mill. Yeah. Mill. It was sort of a mill bar church type of thing.
Well, it
'cause
depends.
Church was once a week. The mill and the bar was every day.
Yeah.
At least for my uncles and dad.
Yeah.
Those folks.
See, my dad hardly ever drank.
Is that right?
Yeah.
No, he
He didn't stop at the shot and beer
No.
Boilermaker thing.
We probably grew
No,
up drinking wine.
well, my grandfather used to make some wine, but it was terrible. I remember as a kid tasted it. At least
Yeah.
now I'm visualizing it. It was bad. Okay.
Yeah.
But he used to make wine. But no, my dad didn't. My dad didn't drink.
Huh. Good.
He worked, come home, and worked outside. Went
Yeah.
to bed, got up, went to work.
Yeah. No TV, so there wasn't any of that
No.
stuff going on.
Thinking back with my parents, my mom and my dad were really good people. You know,
Yeah.
my mother was home and she, of course, then she went to work later on. My dad, he had a heart attack and quit working when he was 50.
Okay.
So my mother went to work and she worked at mine safety.
Yeah. A lot of those men had early heart attacks, and then my grandfather had it at 42. Safety wasn't a big thing in the mill.
Well, my dad was 50.
Wow.
50.
Yeah. And I had a brother, my brother Frank, he had one at 31.
A heart attack.
Yeah. Wow. He had one at 31. He had another one at 32, had open heart surgery at 34. Wow. Then he was killed in a car accident when he was 39.
Oh,
Oh,
shit.
gee.
Yeah.
And you were close, obviously, being 15 months apart.
Yeah, we're only 15 months apart.
Wow.
And then I had a heart attack. I was 45.
I do remember that.
Yeah,
I
well, I
remember you
remember
having
that too.
open heart surgery when
Yeah.
we were
I
young.
was 55 then.
Yeah, we were
It was
55.
10 years later.
Yeah.
That was big when you had the heart attack, because we were all young kids and we were all close. And
Yeah, it was shocking.
it was different. For you, for real, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tease you sometimes that they cleaned you up and now you're ready to go for another, 50 years.
No. I get tired now.
Yeah, he still
When I
beats
golf, I get tired.
He still hits that ball
When
good.
I golf, huh?
He still hits that ball good.
He does.
Oh, I was over there a couple weeks ago with him, and we were working on some things. He
Yeah.
pounds it.
I don't, of course, you can't hit it as far as these young kids today.
Nobody can.
No,
You
these-
know, my two grandsons,
Yeah. Pound it.
they just pound a ball like your son.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, your son, he helped me. You know?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Him and I went out and golfed a few times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
When you moved, I was just thinking about this. When you moved from Braddock to North Huntington, how did you were able to stay in contact with friends from down there, or
Oh,
did
yeah.
you have to start?
I used to thumb back.
Oh, did you?
I didn't drive yet.
Yeah,
So I used to thumb back to North Braddock.
to hang out with your buddies. Because I was wondering how you would, because that's a pretty impressionable age when you're a sophomore. You know, you're
I was in the middle of my sophomore year.
Yeah, that's a tough transition for a kid.
Yeah.
So you had to start with new football team and new friends here.
Yep.
And then try to stay in contact with the folks out there.
Yeah, and I had good friends here too. But back in North Braddock, kids I grew up with, of course, a lot of them are gone now, even here, but I stayed in touch with a lot of my friends.
Yeah, I was wondering about that because that time to move I would think would be a tough one.
Yeah, how about the families then? They must have had a ton of kids, right, when you grew up there?
That have 3 or 4 kids.
Yeah.
There was 3 in our family.
Right.
But other neighbors and all, they had 3, 4 kids.
Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of those, they left Braddock, right? That generation left that part of the world.
Yeah, and they started moving out
everywhere
to the suburbs.
Right.
Right.
I think Jim Thomas was Braddock. There's this.
No, Jimmy Thomas was from North Braddock.
North Braddock.
North Braddock.
Is that different than Braddock? I guess?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you go top of the hill, bottom of the
now
hill.
wait a second. I always kid people from Braddock. I said, wait a minute, we're above the tracks. Because the railroad divided us.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So North Braddock would be almost where you're almost up to Ardmore Boulevard then, right? Or no?
No,
Not quite that
North
high up.
Braddock, right, where Scott High School was?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Well, that's in North Braddock. Right below that was a railroad. Right behind the stadium was a railroad.
Right.
So it was all North Braddock, all the way up the hill.
So it was
Where
a
you
separate
said you went to
municipality.
the golf course?
It was a separate municipality
Totally.
then.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought it
Yeah.
was just like
No.
I'm from North Braddock, you're
No.
South Braddock.
Was it
No.
different high schools?
Oh, yeah. There was Braddock High School and Scott High School.
Wow, I didn't know that
Yeah,
at all.
there was totally 2 different
This
high
is
schools.
great. This is
Wow.
really good
I
to
mean,
know
it's
this.
not-
I didn't know this.
It's a stone throw from each other.
Yeah. Chuck Klausing,
That's what I
Chuck
wanted to talk
Klausing,
about.
yeah,
Yeah,
from-
he was a coach.
Coach
Yeah.
at CMU.
Chuck Klausing coached Braddock.
Okay.
Okay. Johnny Reed was the coach of North Braddock, and he coached for years. Him and Paul Brown, who coached, was a high school in Ohio. What was the name of it now?
No, that starts with an M. That
Yes.
Moeller.
Yeah.
Moeller.
Mo-
Moeller High,
Maslin or Moeller, maybe.
No, maybe it was.
Cleveland area.
Yeah, was it Maslin? I think it was Maslin.
Maslin, probably.
I think it was
yeah.
Maslin.
The Maslin Tigers.
Yeah. And then he went on to coach the pros.
So he was from Braddock.
No, but I'm saying back at that time, John Reed was he played at Penn State, I think basketball.
Oh,
Never played football, but he was a good football coach.
right.
Yeah. And we used to play Braddock. That was a big rivalry.
Oh, I bet it's like your neighbors.
Well, they, back then they used to have the county police on horseback
Oh, yeah.
would come out that night, and they used to have paper. The Post-Gazette
Right.
would have a front page of the football teams, all the players, write-ups about them. Special paper just for the game.
Wow.
And then they had those policemen there because it'd be fights. And so, those policemen come in and control the crowd. I mean, on a Friday night, that'd be 4,000 or 5,000 people at the game.
That's crazy, huh?
Well, I mean, that was it. I mean,
Yeah,
you didn't have
there was nothing
much-
else you did.
That was it.
Yeah, it was
football and
football
baseball.
was a big thing.
Right.
Football, baseball, basketball.
That's it.
Now, I met Chuck Klausing on WLOA. He was a radio station.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I was going to say, what is WLOA?
We have no idea.
Yeah. Okay. I was a captain of the midget team, and I was invited to go on. And he was the coach at Pitcairn at the time,
Oh.
before he went to Braddock.
And that's right up the river, right?
Yeah. And, Pitcairn, you know where that's at.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then he went to Braddock. And then Chuck went to Army, and he coached up at Army. He was the assistant coach at Army.
Wow.
And I stayed in touch with him. Him and I stayed in touch.
Oh,
It was
that's
fun.
nice.
And so that's where I met Chuck on a radio station.
Yeah. He coached my brother at Carnegie Mellon.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And he come back he told me one time, he said, Bill, I can't afford to be the coach at Army. He says, I have all kind of friends want to come up to the Army game, and I'm like getting tickets for them. He's giving
Go broke.
Yeah. He says, I can afford to stay at Army.
Wow. He won
Okay.
national championships.
Yeah.
Carnegie Mellon.
And then he went back to Carnegie Mellon. He was a good coach. Really was a good coach. Nice guy.
Mm-hmm.
You were always from Irwin.
Yeah. I grew up in Irwin.
Well, I was born in L.A. then because my dad was in insurance out there. Then they had me and my mother, with her family. They're like, you got to get back to Larmer and Pittsburgh. Irwin. Back to the Berg.
When you said L.A.,
Yeah, is it
there
crazy?
There was a kid I went to high school with, and he used to tell everybody he was from L.A.
Oh,
Lower Ardera.
Lower Ardera. There you go.
That's funny.
He was from L.A. then. Yeah. Just a different L.A.
Yeah, my dad was Turtle Creek. My mom was North Braddock.
Yeah.
And then they both their families moved out to North Huntington.
Yeah.
My mom's parents moved to White Oak. Actually, they moved. It was actually North Huntington. You know where Sandra Martin and all them lived down by Menzies Farm there?
Yeah.
They grew up down by Menzies
Yeah.
Farm there.
On McKee Road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
McKee Road. Right down from where you had your house on, what's that name?
Frida Drive.
Frida Drive, yeah.
Yeah.
Frida.
They weren't too
How
far.
could you guys forget
Oh,
that?
I don't forget.
I don't know. I always thought it was like Drop Road, but it's Frida Drive. Remember, Todd, we just went over there the other day and bought that thing off of
Yeah,
that
we
guy.
did. We
And
did.
we were talking about you because, Todd, what did you buy or something? You bought
I bought a marlin, a big
a
stuff
stuffed fish.
for my camp. I put crazy stuff up
From
there.
who?
Some guy.
It was right across from your old house. Like
It was,
if it was like we're facing your house here, and then Dowling was here. It was this house right there.
Yeah. It's right down to the left
You know what
there.
I'm saying? Like it would be just left. It was a. I don't think
Oh,
they
that
lived
was,
there.
he was in insurance.
No anymore. It's a newer family.
It's a new family.
Yeah.
They-
You know who lived there then? Was he was the Erie agent.
Larry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dowling.
Was
yeah.
it Larry Dowling's house?
I think so.
I think it was.
See, I don't know that people
Yeah.
live there now.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, but we were just over there.
Yeah,
we were
drove
reminiscing
over,
about
reminiscing.
the days over at your place there. It was quite a bit of fun there. And we don't even want to tell you when you went away to what's that place?
Myrtle.
No, they went to Hilton Head sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, if one of the boys was left town, that was
It was,
a good
party
time.
on.
Wow.
Because maybe they had football or something and they couldn't leave or something. Maybe I don't know, but I do remember there being over there when you guys weren't home a couple times.
Well, I remember one night. It was a football game, and Yacino and I was good friends.
Yeah.
So we'd go out after the game. So one night we're all out, and I don't know what happened. Someone said, let's get out of here. I go, well, let's go to my house for a drink. So we got back to my house. Of course, my sons didn't expect me
Yeah.
home.
So it's cars everywhere, I bet.
There was kids everywhere at my house.
I think I remember that.
In fact, I think Bill invited people from down at McDonald's.
Our hangout.
When you guys, come on to my house. We're having a party.
Oh, Jesus.
That could have been hundreds of people.
So, we come home, and my house is full of kids.
But you think kids, like how oddly stupid you would be because they lived on a cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
And there's 8,000 cars pull up to their house.
Like their neighbors wouldn't know something was going on.
So many kids are, like the neighbors aren't going to tell Bill that
Hey,
they
Bill.
had 500 kids at their house. We didn't think about that. We just thought, well, someone's not home. No one's going to find out. Meanwhile, there's 5,000 cars
They'll
parked
get in
there.
trouble tomorrow.
Oh, I've heard stories now.
Yeah. But they weren't crazy stuff. It was a good time. Just innocent.
No, but back then, you guys, you really didn't destroy it.
No, that's one thing we never did.
Yeah.
Because it was
Same thing when
because
I
it was Mr. Scalise's house. We weren't going to. My dad would have kicked my ass.
Well,
we
you know
were.
what?
I do think we were respectful of people's property. We
Yeah.
just-
I know we were too.
Yeah.
Okay. Today, I don't know.
Right. Seems to have changed.
A little bit.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
different now.
Yep.
Based on growing up, in the time frame that you did with the parents that you did, your brothers and things like that, what during that time frame kind of set you up for life to be successful as a father, as a husband, and as a business person? Because we feel that most of what goes on when you're older gets framed up when you were younger, and there's some lessons there that you learned along the way.
My dad worked in a mill,
Yeah.
and he always used to tell me, if someone's paying you 8 hours of work, you work 8 hours. So
You get there before it starts and
leave after
the
you're
whistle blows.
Yeah, and so when I went into service and I got out, I just got a job and started working. And
And you're still doing it today. Still
well,
working.
no, I didn't get in real estate right away.
Right.
I didn't get in real estate till I sold cars
Right.
for Hamilton.
Oh, like everybody else did in those
Yeah.
days. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't get into the real estate business till I was probably 32, something like that.
Well, Scalise Real Estate's been around since then, and it's still cooking.
Yeah. Well,
But your work ethic, you feel you got.
yeah. And then I got in the building business, and
Yeah.
that was by accident.
Right.
We needed housing
Yeah.
back, 50 years ago. I guess it's 50 years I had the construction company.
70s.
And I never built a house, but I was around that business.
Right.
So I went to the bank and borrowed money and spec'd the house.
There you go.
And I think I built 2 houses at the same time. Up in,
Right out of the gate.
up in Hempfield.
Yeah.
And I think I made $9,000 on each house.
Wow.
And someone said to me, "You only made $9,000 and you built that house?" And I said, I didn't go to college. So people paid to go to college, and I made $9,000
Yeah.
learning how to build houses.
Yeah.
So, because I know a lot of people
So
in
you
the
got
trade.
you got paid to
Yeah,
learn.
you knew all the
Yeah.
tradesmen. You knew all the tradesmen.
Yeah.
But how did you have the confidence to take that chance? You think what did that for you?
When you're younger,
But something from your childhood probably kicked
from
in
Braddock,
there.
and you just do it.
You just said, "Hell,
Go to work every day.
I'll figure this out somehow." Right?
yeah,
Or-
because you know what? First of all, if you own the ground,
right.
that's worth something.
Something, right? Yeah.
Okay. And then there was, like I say, I knew people in the business that were friends.
Mm-hmm.
So they guided me along. But I remember one, of course, I won't say names. He was an excavator. And I know him, yeah. I gave him the job. Except he's training the guy on my job. So I'm paying more money than I should to get the house excavated.
Right. Because he's training and it's
Yeah,
taking way longer than it should have.
than
Right.
It should have, yeah.
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 And that's money out of your pocket, of course.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know any better.
Right.
You find out.
But you learn those as you go, those
Yeah.
lessons. Yeah.
You learn something every day.
Right.
Even as you get older,
Yeah.
you learn new things.
Amen, man. Amen.
I still don't know how to hit a golf ball good. So
Yes, you do. You're plenty
Good
good.
enough. Good enough.
my dad didn't drink a lot.
Right.
I told you. And one time he was drinking and he was sitting in the chair in the living room, falling asleep and all. And he had his pay, and money was on the floor. So I got it on. I gave it to my mother
Yeah.
because he never went out and drank his pay and
Right.
that stuff. And then when he passed, I was going through his pay stubs. The most money he ever made was I think about $4,500.
In a year.
Yep.
Half of what you made on one of those homes. Put it in perspective, right?
Yeah.
But still, it's unbelievable, huh?
Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah.
Raised a family of 5.
So, I mean, that's
So yeah,
$350 a month.
and you know when I was overseas, I made $79 a month, including overseas pay.
Wow.
That's it.
That's it.
Like
Jiminy
$1,500,
Christmas.
$2,000 a year.
Well, don't forget we had food.
Food, though.
Yeah,
right,
but
and housing.
still.
Yeah.
But still, it's tough
Yeah,
pay.
yeah.
Yeah. It's
I mean, those guys right now, and you know, we look for them to defend our country. They don't get the kind of money you
No.
get.
no, God, no.
They should get a hell of a
go
lot
into
more.
war, you
No,
No, you
risk
put your
their
life on the line.
Yeah.
It should be a huge amount of
It's
money.
the ultimate sacrifice, and that's true.
Yeah, they don't get paid like they should.
Right. Well, you know what's interesting? Today, you know, people don't like to do without. Your family didn't have a TV, didn't have a car, and they lived through it. And that was the way it was, right?
Yeah, but see, everybody was that way.
It was all the same.
Everybody,
Right.
you know, I didn't have money. You just go around. How much money you got? I got a nickel. How much you got? I got 7 cents. Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah.
got 10
Let's
cents.
add it up.
Put them all together. We'll go buy gas,
Right.
get in a car, and drive around. Buy a couple gallons of gas, go driving around town.
Yeah.
One buddy had a car.
Share a piece of bazooka gum.
Yeah.
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 You know, during the war, you couldn't get bubble gum.
Really?
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah, that I remember.
I didn't know.
Why?
that.
Yeah,
Why not?
Maybe
They probably used something in it for some part
used
of.
it to hold planes together or something.
They
but-
used it for something, probably.
Yeah.
But then they would have, you'd find out, hey, you know, what was that lady's name of her store? Ethel or something. Got bubble gum. Man, everybody would fly up there to buy bubble gum.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And then be out of it, and you didn't get it.
I bet the plant itself, they used the plant for something else.
Exactly.
Probably.
That's
That's
exactly
probably
what
what
it was.
happened, right?
They took over those plants and they
Yeah.
made them use things for the war. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe they decided to make food rations or
Yeah.
something, but they used the plants to
Right.
deliver something.
Yeah.
Well,
like-
you know, like Ford, they made tanks.
Tanks.
yeah. Right. They did that. Yeah. A lot of those plants they took over. Right.
Yeah, and they either made food or they made something to
Yeah. You were
win
saving the
war.
world.
Sometimes you just didn't have food. It wasn't that there wasn't food to eat. There was certain food you couldn't get.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
so there was rations.
Yeah.
There was stamps. You used to get stamps to buy stuff.
Right.
You know, so when I go back and think about all those things, you know, you don't think of it. It's,
Yeah.
As you get older, you forget about it.
Yeah,
And now
busy.
we're talking. I remember.
Yeah.
You know, you didn't have those things. Gasoline was rationed. Tires were rationed
Wow.
during the war.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those things I sort of remember of the war
Right.
because I was 7 years old or so,
Yeah.
6, 7 years old.
People sacrificed for sure, and you know you got to
A
remember
lot
that.
of women worked in the factories. The husbands were on the war,
Right.
so they had to
Right.
go to work to keep their families.
Yeah, and your dad never went. I guess he was too old probably at the time.
Well, he was. I think he was in his. Well, he was born in 1913. No, he was born in 1906.
06. Oh, he would have been in his
Yeah.
mid-30s or
late
something.
30s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he worked in the
Mid
mill.
late 30s.
Yeah, you don't.
So,
yeah.
and they didn't take the guys out of the mill. They had to.
They had to make the.
They had to make the steel.
Make the metal.
Yeah,
Ah, makes sense. Yeah.
yeah. But most of the guys in the service, they were 18, 19. 20
Yeah, they
years
were
old.
kids for your father's age. A lot of
Yeah.
them, right. Yeah.
You know, those kids that flew those bombers and that, they were 18, 19,
Crazy.
20 years old. They were like tin cans, those things,
Wow.
compared to what they have today.
Sure.
Well, I want to thank you
Quit telling me that.
for coming on, but thank you for your service too to the country.
Yeah, thank you.
Anyone that did military time is a hero in this
Well,
country.
I was lucky. I joined the Marine Corps right after Korea, and then I was stationed in Okinawa, and I was right in between Korea and Vietnam.
God looked down on you there,
Yeah,
man. For sure.
but it was everybody back then. Not everybody. You know, a lot of kids went to college.
Did they?
Yeah. Especially out here,
Right.
North Huntington.
Yeah.
Down in the valley,
Yeah.
it was different.
Yeah. You went to the mill or you went to the
Yeah,
Marines?
you went to the yeah, you worked in a mill or,
Yeah.
Westinghouse, and
Yeah.
and most of these kids out here were going to school.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I would think all my friends from high school, most of them went to college.
The other day, I was thinking to myself, I know more people that are probably gone than are here. Right?
That
are passed.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I know more
We've
people that
crossed
have
that
passed.
line. We've crossed that line.
I know more people that have passed than are here.
Right.
And you certainly probably know more than I do because a lot more people your age have passed, right?
Yeah.
So does that wear on you as you age? Did it ever bother you and wear on you or cause you to get a stronger faith in any way?
Well,
what has it
I think
done?
I think faith, maybe,
Yeah.
because I think you look at when you're younger, you don't think you're ever going to die.
No, that's what I'm saying. I never thought I would die until I got to about 45.
Yeah.
And then I started saying, I'm going to die.
I started around 55. I started going, holy mackerel! I have more behind me than I do in front of me. I can
But I
remember
think
my
about
dad
all
saying
my
that.
aunts and uncles and all, my dad, my mom, everybody,
Yeah.
all of them, they're all gone.
Yeah,
Some of our friends, my cousins, several of my cousins are gone. So you start to go, okay, let's do some math here. Start putting it on paper. And Kareen, this one, that one. And you do the math and you say, wow, for sure, because I know way more people that have gone than they're left.
Oh yeah, me too.
Okay. And it's changed me. It's softened me.
Well, I think
And I just wanted to know from your perspective.
I had the older I got, the softer I got.
Yeah.
But no, you think about those things, but you can't dwell on it.
No.
You can't dwell on it. If you dwell on it, you're going to go nuts. I mean, we're all going to go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
And
It's for sure.
and I don't know if anybody left and come back and said, "Hey,
Let's go get a
it's not too
Boilermaker.
bad."
Right.
Let's get a Boilermaker.
Yeah.
somewhere. Not happening.
So I just think that you stop and think, and you look at things different.
Mm-hmm.
You look at your children. You look at your grandchildren. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
And now we just had our first great granddaughter.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I go, when she was born, I'm going, gee, wow. I'll never see her get married. I won't see her.
Yeah. You start thinking of that.
Yeah. So, I mean, and so you think differently. You really do. And, as much as you love your children and all, and your wife, you start looking at your children, your grandkids,
Yeah.
and say, gee, this is just fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's
what
fun
it's
that
about.
you do that,
At our age, it's all.
Someday you may make money with it. Who knows?
Well, what we want out of this more than anything is cultures to understand what happened before them. Generations. So Luke here is listening to this. He's probably learning a ton of things he never knew about. Other kids are going to watch this, and they're going to be able to learn things about growing up in the 30s and 40s and 50s. That's our goal. Then we are going to have kids on like their age, Luke's age, and try to find out. We don't understand them. I don't understand the young kids.
I enjoyed talking to both of you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks, Mr. Scalise.
That will be it.
That's it. Yeah. All right. We're done. Hey, thank you, Bill.